Hey Rob, how's it going?
Good, Ben. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the High Desert Podcast. And I'm Rob. You might know me from things such as the previous episodes of this same show. And I'm, along with writing and co-hosting this show, part of the outreach team here. This is Ben Swan.
Rob. I'm Ben Swan. I'm the Public Information Officer, which means that I'm the only one that's deputized to... No, I'm not. I'm an officer, so I think that's really kind of cool. That's the only reason I have that title, because when I have to deal with the police, I just say, hey, I'm an officer too. No, just kidding. Anyway, we have a great... we have a great show for you today, but I did want to say a little bit about our wonderful shelter, how all the things that... so great that we're able to do so many different things to make us one of the most progressive shelters in the nation. And I do that. I let people know what we're doing to make sure that, they keep in touch with us and find out what all the wonderful things that we're doing at the shelter.
Do you want to tell our viewers and listeners about our guest today, Ben?
I do.
A little bit?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to introduce him.
Oh.
No,
okay.
no. We have a great, exciting guest today. His name is Christopher Willett.
He'll be with us a little bit later.
He'll be a little late. He's an amazing guy. He's a well-known hairstylist, but he also has a heart for animals that few people have. He's a winner of the APNM's Milagro Award, and he takes animals in and gives them creates. He's just such a wonderful person with animals.
I like to call him a Renaissance man of compassion. I made that up just now.
I like that.
Thank you.
He is a jack of all trades in many ways. And there's a couple secrets that we have about Christopher that we're going to reveal on the show.
It's a surprise. Many surprises.
But
before we get to that, Ben, how was your week?
It's been good. Thank you. It's a very strange week at our house. It's nesting season. As you might remember, I have 5 dogs and 5 birds, and the birds do have they love to fly around my house and do whatever they want, as birds will do. But 2 of our birds, the cockatiels, it's nesting season for them. Anyway, Joaquin likes to go in the closet and lay an egg, and then they become very territorial about the egg. They're domesticated birds, so there's really they don't know what to do with the egg except watch it. Anyway, recently Isaac loves to. He's the one that he's a disciplinarian. He's saying like it's time to go to bed, so we always put them in their kennel after they. when it gets dark.
This sounds like a complicated social
No, it's
situation.
not complicated. The birds are complicated. So
you have 12 beings living in your house, all with their own social kind of
and all the pack rats outside
complaints.
Too. Anyway,
have you ever seen the movie Jumanji? This is what Ben's house is like. He gets home, puts his loincloth on, and
I haven't seen that movie, but I'm more of a Disney.
You haven't seen Jumanji?
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
I just said it twice. Jumanji.
That's right.
Okay, so
anyway, Isaac comes on my shoulder and he tells me when it's time for me to go get Joaquin to put him back in the kennel. It's kind of cute. He goes on my shoulder. He yells at me, "Let's go get Joaquin. It's time to go to bed." And then I have to go get Joaquin and put him back into the kennel.
Yeah, this is just like Jumanji. But anyway, you have a picture to show us from one of our fans / adopters.
Oh yeah, the Austin people.
Yeah, people from Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
it's a rival weird city.
So one of the best thing about the shelter is that people love to stay in contact with us with animals.
Yes.
And we just recently received this photo of their adoptee, and they sent it from Austin, and it looks like a very happy relationship.
Right. And here's the photo. Did we have a title for this segment, Ben? We're gonna do this every week.
Oh yeah, this is a new segment. We're calling it. I don't know. Do you want to call it something like Pause?
I don't know, but it sounds like there's a. It's a jumbo jet flying.
No, it's my cockatiels come flying to me to tell me it's time to go to bed. What do you think? Picture perfect? Something like that?
Sure. We'll talk about it.
Strange.
Okay.
Perfect fit?
Yeah. No. The puns are interesting ideas. Anyway.
So if you have a photo, we'd love to see it, and we'll talk about it.
In this photo, I remember this puppy. I have a photo. Here's the photo I took of him when he was here. I think it's a him. But looks like he's had a lot of barbecue in Austin, huh, Ben? He's put on a few. It's good. It's good. It's always good to maybe fatten up your shelter animals a little bit, but then take it down. You want to avoid any health problems. But we encourage you all to pitch in, send us your photos, stories, videos, whatever, money, definitely. We don't do this show or run this shelter without your contributions, both emotional and monetary. So Please, subscribe to this podcast. Keep an eye out for some of our fundraising campaigns, or send us a check, whatever's working.
Yeah, I think
for
people should know that we're, unlike a lot of cities our size, Santa Fe is the only animal shelter that doesn't receive direct funding from the taxpayers, and so we get all of our support from people like you.
Yeah.
So it'd be wonderful if you thought about supporting our work.
Exactly.
And letting me post more photos on Facebook.
Which he does ad nauseum. Not ad nauseum. It's good. If you're one of our 40,000 members. Anyway, Ben, if I was reincarnated, what animal do you think I'd be?
You?
Yeah.
I want to say jackass, but I think that would be rude, wouldn't it? It just came to me. A jackal?
A jackal?
A hyena?
This is getting worse, I think.
A dingo? Dingo got my baby?
Dingo I'd be fine with. That's a dog of some kind, I guess.
All right, dingo may be better.
But anyway, we our guest today.
That was supposed to be a joke, Rob. You know that, right?
What?
I was joking.
A dingo ate my baby?
No, the jackass joke.
No, I get it. I got it. We got the joke. So our guest today likes to think of all animals as beings, which I think most people do, but he's really into kind of investing in the what do you want to call it? Spirituality and.
You could call it that way. And we'll be able to.
He'll answer that question for us. I'm
no, but I want to say
philosophy on life.
The thing about Christopher was so interesting about him. He does. I mean, beings. He does really connect with the animals on a different level than most people.
Yeah.
And it's a level that we all should strive to reach, to really understand and befriend our.
Yeah, I think people often find themselves in conflict about how they should act with the animals, whether animals around them, whether they're pets or wild animals or pests or whatever the case may be. And I think it's something that we're lucky enough to, as humans, have cognition to think about how we think about animals. So it's an interesting kind of existential topic. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Christopher Willett, a small business owner, longtime animal activist, former board member here at the shelter, and it's a pleasure to have him on our show.
Hey!
Sorry about our lengthy banter there.
Oh, hello.
It went a little long there.
Did it make you feel uncomfortable? Because that was the goal.
A bunch of that will be in the director's cut.
No, good. And, it's funny because actually I had a friend working diligently on getting the Dingo Ate Me Baby for the ringtone of my phone.
Really? That's good.
That's a song. What's the song? Who sang that song?
A woman whose baby was
stolen by a dingo. It's actually
Meryl Streep.
It's actually a folk story. Oh, it's from a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Anyway, so we actually have questions. This isn't just we don't just ramble, or we do, but
I ramble
sometimes. Yeah,
rambling is great.
Thank you.
It's good for your brain.
It is.
So, Christopher, last week Ben and I were talking about technological solutions to pet guardianship. But we learned recently that you threw away your iPhone or iPad because of something pet. Can you tell us this story?
Did you throw away your technology?
Well, the thing is that with technology, I think that there are some really great things like microchips. They're fantastic. Also, clearly developments in medicine. And so, I threw away my iPad and my cell phone because I am prone to being incredibly ADD. And so it goes from Beyonce to eBay to Facebook and I realized that I was spending less and less actual time with my animals. And we had...
Or your husband probably, yeah.
Well, there's that. And no.
It's only a half-hour show, so let's... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God. So, I threw them away, and it was great.
Did you get them back? Because I'd throw them away, and then I'd just get them back from the
No, I put
committed
them
to it.
Through, yeah.
Wow.
I actually had to buy another phone, though, because my music was on it. But how that has to do with animal welfare in my life is that I now am a little more present with the family.
Yeah,
it's good. But the weird thing with the cell phones or our technology is that most people I know love to take pictures of their dogs and then videos and things like that. So now you have another phone, but it brings you closer to the animals, but it doesn't actually give you one-to-one time with your friends or animals.
Totally. And I think that for me, was a problem. And I have a camera, a dedicated camera that's not also something that can take my blood pressure or x-rays or communicate with the weather on
like my iPhone.
So, right, exactly.
I watch.
But no, it's really great not having those devices. I kind of love it.
Can I jump in and ask how many animals you have now and what drew you into?
Good question. Yeah, that's important.
And what drew you into taking care of all these beans?
Oh, God.
And maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that idea of being and nothingness. I mean, just beans.
Being and nothing. Okay, wait.
That was
Where's the
Half-hour show. It's a half-hour
right.
show.
Oh my God, the pressure's on. Ben said he rambled, and it's like, I am.
No. This is all in jest.
So we have 9 cats, 2 dogs, a snake, a bird, and a fish.
That
Wait,
bird
9
you
cats.
got that flew to you, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that the one you were talking about? Yeah, that you told me a long time ago. That's really cool.
She's
Mine are
been with us
rescued
10
birds as
years.
well. Belle, our parrot, is 50 years old.
Wow.
Its owner died, and yeah, so she's still really angry about that. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Because you killed her owner.
No, I didn't kill
That's
her
right.
owner. But the owner was definitely old when she died because the parrot only says things like, my hearing, or
Where's the TV remote?
yeah, anyway. So tell us about your beans.
They're fabulous. We have 2 border collies, both rescues. Neither of them are from the shelter, though. All of the cats are from the shelter.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask Christopher a little bit more about, something serious about, well, not that serious.
What?
No, your award, your Milagro Award, which is a really, really incredible,
great honor.
And
Only given every 4 years.
can you tell us a little bit more about that? And
Statewide award.
It was really sweet. It was a total shock. It was amazing. Jerry Aaron actually kind of patted it together.
did she nominate you? And Jerry
She did.
Aaron, as most people know, she's a well-known person in Santa Fe because she did create San Gallo de Cristo Animal Society, I think is what it's
the
called.
League of Animal Voters.
Yes, that
and-
became
yeah.
APNM.
She got wind of a news story about a pig that had been run over that I picked up and found medical care for. And actually, Bob Gruda did reconstructive surgery on this
Local
pig.
veterinarian.
Yeah, they put this award together, and it was a total shock. It was amazing, and also seeing the community reaction or response. I mean, because when I paid for the surgery, people were coming in with donations, and it was like, wait, you've got to be kidding.
Can you get into the idea of your philosophy behind animals?
They're delicious.
A former vegan, as you say.
Right, totally. God, there's nothing worse than
A former vegan.
Yeah. Oh, God. 1,000 years ago, I started volunteering at the animal shelter in the clinic. Yeah, I guess it was in 2003. And I started working with cats in particular that were pretty badly injured.
Yeah, I remember some of them.
Yeah. And I would take them home to work with them under the supervision of the shelter veterinarians. And so, depending on their level of recovery, they would go to other homes or they would stay with us where they would transition. And so...
we call that technically medical foster, and we have still that program where people can join as foster families and take on medical challenging
awesome.
animals, and then they can either stay there if they're on hospice care or go on to lead happy lives elsewhere.
That's amazing. I love that there's a program for that, because when I was doing it, there wasn't really a curriculum.
Right.
There wasn't, yeah.
No, it's really rewarding.
And as a part of the care that you've provided to these animals, Christopher, you've also kind of developed what's been a popular, I know Ben has been to one of these ceremonies of interning animals that you found or helped with or were a guardian for, but specifically ones that you found in either very, very poor shape or deceased, that you held, as I understand it, that you felt needed to be respected because they probably wouldn't have been in the situation in which you found them.
Just to put it on the table, I have a hard time differentiating between life forms and establishing or quantifying value as far as what is a more important role. And so when I see wildlife or domestic animals that are sort of regarded as trash.
Yeah.
Left on the side of the road.
Yeah, that really bothers me. And, we've all been in that parking lot where there's the fast food wrapper in the can and then like a chicken leg.
Yeah.
And we just walk right by. Ooh,
Right.
Excuse me, I am so sorry.
That's
That's
okay.
all right.
That person's going to
It's broken now.
His name is Road.
So the thing is that the reaction I think would be quite different if it was a human finger.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
that's a good point. Yeah.
So like, why then?
How can you value one being over the other? Like a chicken
Right.
leg is just as terrible as a human leg that you see on the thing.
That's physically the same thing, right? It's just belonging to a different animal. And it's pretty fat because I think kids really struggle with this idea, right?
I think
All the
so
time.
too. I think when kids really discover where a lot of meat or even clothing comes from. I think
Yeah.
that can be sort of the establishment of the first series of functional blind spots that help us cope and get through. And having, tried to remove some of those blind spots in my own life and sort of negotiating how to have, a rich life, but being a little more inclusive, like Ben mentioned, not being vegan anymore. But with doing a funeral, with doing a ceremony, I think that it is very important for us to recognize the responsibility that we have, because these animals are completely 100% beholden to us through hundreds of years of manipulating bloodlines.
Thousands, I mean, tens of thousands of years.
Exactly. And then even more recent than that, I mean, really breeding for trade. So, looking at farm animals and looking at the extinction of cows. I mean, most species of cows don't exist anymore because the only ones that are valuable are the ones that are used for commodity.
Unfortunately, it's not just animals, but it's also fruit and special varieties of vegetables and things that we just want one thing. So
right.
It really destroys the diversity of our world, really. If you think about it.
And it's getting narrower and narrower.
The biodiversity, you're saying, generally, yeah. And what sort of traditions we're showing some pictures now of the funeral you held. What sort of traditions do you draw from? Because there's obviously some important symbolism here.
I think that the symbolism is just sort of it comes from some Hindu, some Shinto, and the idea too that when we bury an animal, we do obviously use earth, we use dirt, but we create a bed of flowers, and so then we put more flowers on top, and then create a gravestone that's representative, I hope, of what this animal was about. And the flowers and the fruit represent the beauty and the sweetness of life. Oftentimes we also anoint the animal because Egyptians believed that by anointing with oil, it helped to open the portal into the next experience.
Right.
Whatever, however person chooses to believe that or assign it for an animal.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I think this may appear unusual. I mean, as you of course know, that this may appear unusual to some folks, but also realize, or I guess I'm urging our viewers and listeners to realize that we are kind of culturally more irreverent than most other cultures in how we treat the deaths of animals, right? I mean, we have not to get into too political things about,
but it really depends on what type of animal. I mean,
exactly.
It's true.
And also some people can really get attached to certain types of not farm animals who they really love. But I did want to say something a little bit about the ceremony. What I felt, because I was privileged enough to be to one of the ceremonies, is that how you really just let people experience the animal who was dead, but to treat it as a being, and those who could watch it or look at it or do anything they could have. It was just a way of putting that back into our reality, our face. So like, this is an animal that had a rich life. Somebody. It was somebody's companion, we hope. It died, was hit by a car, you picked it up, you treated it with respect, and that was just an awesome and valuable experience for a lot of the people that were there.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I mean, I think that, again, like the whole idea of functional blind spots, some people are much more hesitant to sort of go into the experience of loss, and also identifying that, a non-human being may also have a very rich spiritual life, and
in ways that we don't even understand.
right. And through arrogance and naivete, I think that we as a species continue to discredit not only value but intelligence. It's changing. I mean, thank God. There I think is more recognition that animals are sentient and have different ways of communicating.
Was that really what did that bring? What did that draw out? And the idea was like, bringing the veganism and respecting animals as beings, and then also how do you put that in your day-to-day life?
By not being vegan anymore, it really it's still very conflicted for me. I'm still very tempted to going back to being vegan, and honestly, it's a matter of convenience at this point. But also, I feel that there's a very sharp awareness, when I make decisions as far as what I put on my body or in my body, where it's coming from and also what the sacrifice ultimately was.
For that being, that's a really good point. And just as a reminder, vegan is not just that you don't eat animal products or animal protein, but also you don't wear leather. You don't, you really respect every being, even bees, because they don't.
Oh, totally. I mean, when I was vegan, I was an abolitionist. So, I mean, even looking at alternatives in tires that don't use animal adhesives between the layers of the tires. And so really kind of finding where I could still have a functional life, right? And, negotiating as clean a life as I could it was good for me. I mean, it was very spiritually satisfying.
I think it's really important just to look at what you consume. Think about that. It's also what you put in your head, like the cell phone idea. What are you receiving?
Right.
And that what you're receiving becomes a part of your being, and that's what you give to other people as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we can all do a better job of knowing what sort of industries we support, and I think consumerism is kind of getting there as we can
so much easier for us
to be selective, right? And I don't want to cut this conversation short, but I have a surprise for you guys. We're going to play a little game here.
What? A game?
But before we do that, we're going to go to a new segment, or a segment that's been on Facebook for a while but is being incorporated into the show, which is Emily's training tip of the week. And so here's that, and we'll come back with this show in just a second.
Hi, Trainer Emily here, and welcome to Training Tip Tuesday. So we're wrapping up our month of tips for multi-dog households here by talking about two very important things to watch out for between your dogs. The first thing is watching out for bottlenecks. These are places in your house where the dogs are forced to share space. Because they're forced to come together, that can often create conflict. In particular, things like doorways or mealtime can also count as a bottleneck because dogs often come close to each other and are competing over a resource. So the best thing to do for bottlenecks is to ask your dogs to sit and earn them. Like we talked about last week, the sit for please. That way their focus comes off of each other and onto you. When you go to a door, have your dog sit and wait and then excuse them individually. That often really helps, which is why the first week we talked about teaching your dogs their names so they can identify when they're being talked to. So bottlenecks is one thing. The other thing to watch out for, which a lot of people don't recognize, is stare downs. A lot of hostility and threat in a household can be very silent. It's just dogs staring at one another. And then the owners see the dogs all of a sudden get into a fight, and it seems to have happened out of the blue, when really they were giving each other silent threats to begin with. So watching out for stare downs, interrupting that when you see it happen, and also setting them up so that they are not forced to stare at one another. I knew a trainer once, he walked into a household and the dogs were having problems because the owners had set the crates so that they were staring at one another basically all day. And it was a wonder they were having hostility problems. So the simple act of moving the crate so they weren't staring at each other all day helped an awful lot. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will see you next week.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Emily, for that tip.
Incredible
Obviously,
tip.
those are really popular. People. It's amazing. It's kind of with the birth of the internet, we were just talking about technology. All the misinformation you can find online, and it's nice to get some verifiable information from an expert. Anyway, you guys ready? You should be ready because
We're just talking about
I have a
different
surprise for you. This is
this way.
part of a
They always do this.
ongoing segment where I don't tell Ben about a game he's going to play with our guest, and
I can't stand games.
they're both going to embarrass
I like
themselves a
games
little bit.
that I can be in charge of because I know the answers to.
I'm only wearing 4 pieces of clothing, so it better be quick.
Very good.
Okay, good. Well, there's 5 questions, I guess. Anyway,
so what game is this?
This is one that our producer had labeled Furry Feud. So what it is I took a survey of people around the shelter, employees, volunteers, folks that were just, sleeping in the hallways. And
Oh, that's like Family Feud. I get it now.
yes,
Feud,
I don't know if
Family
we can say that on the air because it's a thing. Like I don't know how
I think you
copyright
can.
works. Yeah, Family Feud. It's on a network channel. I mean, geez, who cares? Anyway, so we took a survey, and so you guys are answering these questions based on the survey
Are
of
we feuding?
shelter.
Are we
You're
feuding?
feuding.
Or am I feuding with you?
You're team 1 and 2. No, I'm the host.
Oh, okay.
I'm the creepy guy.
Can
that
he be feuding?
hits on all day.
All right, we'll just do that anyway.
Anyway, so you are answering these questions based on what you think the popular answers are among people
Right.
in the shelter,
where's
not
my
what the
buzzer?
truth is.
Not the reality.
No, we're going to go back and forth. You go first because you're a guest. Christopher, what percentage of American families have dogs? And you can give me a range of 10%, so 20 to 30%, 50 to 60%.
30 to 40.
30 to 40%.
Oh, I was going to say higher.
Okay, so what would your answer be?
30-40 is a very good answer, but I would say 45. How's that?
40 to 50.
It's like the
Yes.
Price is Right. Come
You know
on
what?
down.
This is pretty fascinating. Okay, so Christopher gets 2 points from that question.
Oh, because you got it right.
And unfortunately, well, he got more than you. You were both way off base. But
is it
and Ben
60%?
gets 0, actually.
Oh, that's all right.
So next question.
Sounds
The
like- it's like-
following question.
Wait, are you going to tell us what it is?
Oh, the most popular answer from here in the shelter was 50 to 60%.
Oh, okay.
wow.
I was going to go higher. I should get closer because I was higher
So
than him.
he got
Right,
2
yeah.
points. 2 people answered 30 to 40%.
Oh, I see.
0% answered whatever you said.
It's some kind of skew.
Most people, 8 people said 50 to
Where'd you come up with
60%.
This
This
game is
game-
like it's like dealing with the IRS. It's like
No,
but
it's
wait,
like-
no,
You're trying to
there's
estimate.
a-
Yeah,
some
no.
game
Everybody
that-
loses.
On
He
an
invented
alternating
in
full
Russia or
moon.
something like
How many American families have cats, Christopher? Would you say? Do you want to ring in with your
20 to 30%.
20 to 30%? Okay.
that.
Ben?
I think it's more.
You think it's more?
More than dogs.
You have to be specific.
more. I would say 50 to 60.
50 to 60%. Ben wins that one with 6 points.
Yes.
And Christopher, what'd you say? 20 to 30?
Yes.
You get 2 points. So that
Well, you
means
got 2 points.
Ben has 6
This is
making me win.
and Christopher has 4. Okay, so now we're gonna go and we're gonna go back and forth between you two until we exhaust the category
Okay.
here. So, Christopher, starting with you, what breed of dog is the most popular in the United States?
Labs.
Oh, I want to say lab too because I know because
You can't say that's not-
I just read an article today that it's still the most popular breed.
Okay,
All
so
right.
then what's the second most popular? Based on what people said
Golden
here, not what's
retrievers.
based on the
Golden
truth.
retrievers.
Okay, so
Do we keep going?
I guess we're. Hold on, I'm calculating.
I'm just
Christopher got 7 there. Ben, you got 3.
Well, I got 3 at least.
Got 3 points. So
Pitbulls.
that brings.
I want to say shepherds.
Okay, no wait, stop! You gotta wait him. I gotta let him go. There are rules to this game.
But can't we alternate?
I hate
So
these
he
Yes,
has a
we're
fighting
trying to
chance of
alternate.
winning?
He's just
Okay.
having outbursts. Christopher,
What?
what's the third most popular dog breed in America?
Aunt Betty. Let me think.
By the way, Betty is really sweet. I love her.
Third.
What you say?
Or what's the most one after the
Yeah. Chihuahuas.
Chihuahua?
Oh,
You
that's a
get
good
3
one.
points for that answer.
And I had shepherd.
Are you okay? All right. And then we're going to end in that category because this is getting crazy. So, Ben, hold
Such
on.
a
Oh,
disappointment.
my God. Okay, so, Ben, you said Shepherd and Golden Retriever. So you get 5 points, which brings your total to 11. And, Christopher, you said Lab and
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, which brings... He gets 10 points for that,
gosh.
which brings his total to 14.
Great.
14 to 11.
Next. Is that it?
No, there's 3 more questions. Wait, 2 more questions. 2 more questions. This
Yeah.
is a fun one.
All right.
Christopher, if you were one of your pets, what would be your favorite activity?
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, I like I'm built sleepy anyway, so it's like
Ben, what would be your favorite activity if you were a pet of yours?
sniffing balls. Sorry. Oh.
How did you know
We can put that
that?
under playing with toys, but
It would be playing with toys.
playing with toys. Okay, and we'll
Fetch
just
more
okay.
more.
So Christopher
Not like
gets
the chase
3
balls.
from that question, which brings his total to 17, and Ben got 4, which brings his total to 14. We're closing the gap. 3 points left.
Okay.
Okay. What species of animal has been domesticated the longest by humans?
Cats.
Cats. So Ben, your
Hey,
turn.
Rob.
What species of animal has been domesticated the longest by humans?
I know this because we interviewed Dr. White, Dr. Dan White from OSU, Ohio State University. It is dog, the canine species.
The canine species.
Yeah, it's dog. It's dog.
What? Do you have a rebuttal?
I do.
What's that?
Egyptians, cats, come on.
Yeah, but dogs have been domesticated since we were hunter gatherers, Neolithic.
Yeah, before
True
the
story.
Egyptians.
We had like a guy with a PhD
Thank
after his
goodness I
name
got to
confirmed
do
this
that.
for us.
Whatever. Cats came from another planet, so who
That's
really
true.
knows?
That's
All right.
absolutely true. They were the ones when those.
It's contested. Actually, it doesn't matter. This is a survey questions.
Aliens look like cats.
Aliens
So,
look like cats.
unfortunately, Ben wins.
Unfortunately.
I'm a good
Oh wait,
loser.
I'm supposed
Ben
to
won
be a
with
humble winner.
26 points
Wow.
because that dog answer really put him over the end.
But you know what? I think Christopher actually wins because he's a much better person than I am. So
We all win. We all win when
I give
we're
We all win.
I give you all my
compassionate towards
points.
each other.
Oh,
So that
thank you.
is the end of that segment.
Thank
And
you for your furry feud.
furry. Yeah, we'll think about that name a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
Santa Fe Squares. I like that better.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, I like Santa Fe Squares.
sure. And lastly,
Oh, God.
And lastly,
Christopher's a small business owner. He is the owner, proprietor, operator, chief stylist at. What's the name of your salon, Christopher? I understand it didn't have a name for a while.
no, it has a name, but he never really.
Oh, you never
advertised
marketed it.
Yeah.
We have never ever. Actually, the only time we've advertised is when we have had adoption events.
Yeah, we did
for
have
you
an
guys.
adoption.
Well, when you're this good, no advertising necessary. What's the name of the business?
When the sun reaches my sister.
It is a salon. Where is it?
It's at 301 North Guadalupe. We're in the same building as the public defender.
It's a one-stop
And Pooch
shop.
Pantry.
Yeah, and Pooch Pantry. Oh my God, they're
Daphne
fabulous.
is really great.
Daphne
Also
is
a shelter
fantastic.
supporter.
I love her. Yeah.
So, if you need a haircut like I do, go visit Chris, defer, and
He can help
that's
you
our
with your
show.
bangs, I think.
What?
Bangs.
He can help you with your bangs.
Just bangs? Yeah.
Just bangs. That would be a great name of a hair salon.
Just bangs. $120, just bangs.
Stop it.
Anyway, thank you, Christopher, for coming on.
For
and
joining us.
putting
for
up with
having
us.
me.
Putting up
Woo,
with us.
You guys are awesome.
And that's
Thank you
been
so much.
So join us next week when we talk to another member of our community. Remember, you can always write us at podcast at
sfhumanesociety.org. But you know, I've
That's
also
good.
but you could also Facebook us messages or even just send it directly to
Remember,
us.
if you have a complaint, put it on Facebook because that's what Ben does.
Nice.
And
I do answer
remember
that.
to come and find yourself your new best friend or friends. Please, seriously, send us photos, stories, whatever. We want to hear. This is the place where you can tell everybody what your cat did this
how
morning.
wonderful your animal is.
Yeah,
I love those kind of
because
stories.
you know some people don't. We want to listen to it. Is the point? Some people don't, and to hell with them. So thank you so much for joining us, Christopher. Remember, if you feel the urge to donate, that's what keeps us on the air and keeps this shelter open. You can find all that information on
our
everywhere:
website.
Facebook, website, anything. So thank you. Well, yep.
I did want to say, people, if you want to see back episodes of our wonderful podcast, please go to our YouTube channel or see them on Facebook
Yep. YouTube channel, Facebook, SoundCloud.
and our website.
And your iPhone, they're going to be on the podcast thing, and
Christopher
your
won't-
Android
Unless you may.
phone.
He won't be able to listen
Android
to it
or
because-
Christopher won't be able to consume them that way, but he's here, so it's different.
Thank you again,
So thank you so much, and join us next week.